This is part of an ongoing series that we have about the untold damage that Forestry New South Wales is doing to northern New South Wales and the underhanded tactics that they use to quite literally destroy the land before time. This is untouched, virgin dinosaur rainforest that they're ripping the guts out of. And I'll tell you right now, if we were governed by the laws of mathematics, there'd be a very simple angle to the following story. 2 wrongs make a right. But unfortunately, we're not ruled by triangles. Yet. We're ruled by this crime syndicate instead. And so whatever the natural laws are, they just go, whoa, oh, the New South Wales Liberals have been elected. Dr. Zeus land now. Green eggs and ham available in stores due to the Liberals cutting funding to the New South Wales Food Authority. Whoa. Hey, I still buy it. And I've never felt better in my life. You know what laws are suffering the most? The OG laws of nature, environmental laws, and that's because the Liberals refuse to enforce the very few Gladys didn't already shred. They'd sooner arrest a barman for not having adequate horse feed, which is still a law by the way, and fair enough. What if Sarah Jessica Parker walks into a bar? This is how far they'll go not to enforce those laws. They will bankrupt, defame, and nope, not done yet, imprison someone for even asking for those laws to be enforced. Remember Mark Graham? No, because his face isn't bashed in. Here's the vid. So sad that that's the thing that he'll be most famous for the rest of his life. Him and Rex Hunt. Far more generous than the free hugs guy who was giving out kisses for years and then one day, pow, right in the kisser. How ironic, eh? But even more ironic is Mark got bashed for reporting crimes. Crimes! That is a double dose of illegal. You'd think Mark would get the highest accolade Rural Australia gives out, which is a vigilante from Bellingen took the law into his own hands today.
Oh, shut up! Just tell us if the under-12s netball team made it to state or not!
NBN News. How are we still a thing, eh? He didn't get that. What a shame. He got criminally prosecuted instead. Him. The only one in this equation who didn't commit any crimes. Look at the bail conditions. You're not allowed to enter state forests anymore, okay? Mark's basically this pixie in Fern Gully. He gives people tours of these forests for nectar, I assume. That's his livelihood. Him not being able to enter a forest, it's like they've turned that man into a medieval citadel. It's a siege tactic. He can't eat. No social media. What are you, his dad? I'll know if you're on it. Realising they won't know if he's on it, they listened to 2. Okay. You can go online to see what legacy clip has been most recently uploaded of the Howard Stern show. We're not monsters. But you're not allowed to mention anyone who works at Forestry New South Wales ever again! Doesn't that beautifully encapsulate the Coalition's idea of free speech? Everything's open for criticism except them and their minions, especially the National Party. Is there a group of more detestable pussies on earth? Maybe the Chainsmokers. After getting the bail conditions, Mark thought, okay, that's insane. The man who's making sure that the law is followed isn't allowed into the forest while those breaking every law in the book are given free rein to commit even more crimes. So he assisted in an independent report written up of even more crimes committed by Forestry New South Wales. This time it was 56 fresh new breaches, including ones that he showed us, where they cut down trees that were way too large, backing up their vehicles on other ancient trees like they were no standing poles you hit on your peas. You'd cop a fine for that, right? Do you think they did? Get a drum roll going, because this is what the EPA decided. Out of 56 breaches, they determined that none of them were breaches. Not one. Wouldn't you pretend a couple of the lower hanging breaches were breaches? Just a $50 fine here and there to make it seem like you actually looked at the thing? Can we all just agree that the worst invention humanity's ever made is... Hi, welcome to the Complaints Hotline. I think we all know the jig's up. I'm just going to say your call's important to us, even though it's not. I don't know why you bothered calling, frankly. Oh yeah, fair enough. I'm a voice recording, mate. Oh, sorry. No worries, mate. An organisation checking itself. It's like asking Anthony Kiedis if he thinks he's a legend or not. I think we already know the answer. Companies and governments are always looking for ways to be more efficient. I'll tell you what you can do right now. You can fire everyone in those departments and just replace them with these 2 words on your FAQ under complaints.
Get bent.
Look at what the Environmental Protection Agency passed off as not a breach. This tree here, very illegal to touch. Very good chance it'll die. When Captain Cook was sailing past, it still would have been hundreds of years old then, survived untold natural disasters until right now when it'll die because... Oh, look at this log. Oh, It's almost as wide as my cock, boys. Not as long, because my cock's a chode, but almost as wide. They measured it at 151 centimetres. It is illegal to log a tree that is over 140 centimetres in diameter. But the EPA, how bullshit does this sound? Doesn't this sound like one of the worst lies you've ever heard? Ever. Actually, from our measurements, I think it's 138 centimetres. 13 centimetres difference. How'd you get that, EPA? With a sander? Mark asked the EPA basically that, said, can you just come down here and point out the equivalent of a man's hand being blown off, just to say to our faces, no, I think that's more of a manicure. Guess what the response was? It's unbelievable. This wasn't supposed to come out. This was leaked. They sent out a dangerous persons alert about Mark to everyone in not just the EPA, multiple government departments. Look at it. Doesn't it look like he's a wanted criminal in Arnold Schwarzenegger's most memorable film, The Sixth Day? This is the most infuriating part of the cycle, where they start making up lies that are justified by other lies other departments say about you, because it's like, your house looked like this to begin with. Stop trying to build another story on it. These are the reasons that Mark is this dangerous lunatic that must be approached with caution like he's a bear. He's dangerous, apparently, because he owns guns. Everyone owns guns in the country. I know this is a very NRA talking point, but it's a tool, damn it. In the country, a gun is a tool because, oh my God, what was that? You see, if I had a gun, I would have been able to defend myself against that introduced pest. Now, obviously that was just a reenactment, but what if it was real? That's why Mark uses them. To kill feral animals that are f***ing up the environment. So as usual, the EPA is getting angry at Mark for doing their job for them. Oh, he knew when the EPA were entering and exiting the state forest, so he's stalking us? Or how paranoid is this? This is what they wrote afterwards. I think he might have set up cameras in the forest. You don't know this, EPA, and your fancy air-conditioned CBD officers. You're obviously just a bunch of city slickers, but people in the country gossip because they've got all going on in their lives. People call him all the time and report this stuff to him. That's how, as per his email, he knew you were there. He doesn't have cameras spying on your New South Wales coalition. Relax, he's not you guys. Even though he didn't actually say anything threatening, you could tell in his tone he was very menacing. His tone. Nothing angers me more than that. Well, Vice. But that's probably because Vice uses that shit all the time too. Every bad person you've ever met in your life does the whole, I can't defend myself from your criticism of what you actually said, so I'm just gonna say it was bad because of the tone. They really should sell that argument in a can at Coles under the range dickhead's choice. But those are their arguments. That's why Mark Graham's dangerous, because he got a phone call from a friend in Armidale, and you could tell that even though he was being polite, he didn't mean it. That's your tax dollars at work under the libs. Ruining a man's life for wanting to protect the forests that have remained untouched since the age of dinosaurs until this fat shit snuck his way into office, and yet everyone thinks the coalition are the ones that cut back on bureaucratic waste. Every government department turns from public service to protection racket, all there for no other reason but to add legitimacy to the other crimes of other departments. So wouldn't you consider that a huge bureaucratic waste? God, I hope Dom and the coalition f*** off this election. The entire area that Mark is trying to get some justice for, he'd never have to do in his life again, because if the coalition is replaced by New South Wales Labor, they are going to turn it into the Great Koala National Park. That protects over 300,000 hectares of prime koala habitat, and that really is their Noah's Ark. That is their one ticket off the extinction train. And not just them, we're talking hundreds of species on the endangered list that were again put on by this dynamic duo, permanently protected. So for the love of God, don't get complacent this election. Don't let this election be another 2019 where the Liberals sneak their way back in through the back door. Make sure you vote Labor, number one, because once these bureaucracies are cleaned out, they'll start working for you instead of the National Party's friends. Catch you next time, hopefully under an actual government instead of a mafia. That'll be a nice change after 10 years.